Okay. In the last class, what we learned a little bit basic about AC responses, right? About AC circuits, and what is an alternating current and how to represent it in vector form, and those little bit basics about AC circuits we studied. In today's class, what we are going to see is we are going to see how a pure resistor or an inductor or a capacitor behaves when an AC stimulus is given. Right, we are not going to see combination of resistance, inductance and capacitance, but just a pure resistance or a pure inductor or a capacitor. Now, how they are going to behave when we apply an AC signal onto it. Okay. So, that is what the goal of today's class is. This we learnt in the last class, just a revision, that an RMS value is given by root of average of square of the function. Okay. That we had defined this VRMS this way, and then we also learned that VRMS is equal to I maximum by root 2 IRMS, and VRMS is V maximum divided by root 2, and power is nothing but VRMS into IRMS, which can be written as I square RMS into R or V square RMS divided by R. So, this derivation we did. So, we just have to remember this thing for today's class, right. Okay, so the first example which we are going to learn is about a resistor. When we are applying a sinusoidal signal, what happens, right? The behavior of the response, like in a DC circuit, is again defined with the help by an Ohm's law. Okay, so I is equal to V divided by R here. Okay, here also, in this case also, I is equal to V divided by R, like it was for the DC. So, the only difference here is the voltage in this case is is a time variant function, like small v is Vm sin omega t. So, with time the voltage is going to change. Okay, from 0 it is going to reach Vm and then negative Vm, right, and similar. So, the current will be also will follow the voltage exactly in the same phase. I is equal to Im sin omega t. So, the value of Im will be given by Ohm's law, which is Vm divided by R. So, these both are exactly in phase. Okay, is it understood? One.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, now this is the phasor representation for an a response for an resistance and when an AC signal is applied. So, if you see the current and the voltage, they are exactly in phase. So, this is what. So, this is a generalized way of representing the phasor diagram of a resistor. So, if you see the V phi, okay, that is voltage is given by V e to the power of j omega t plus phi. So, the current will be given I t e to the power of j omega t plus theta. So, in this case phi and theta are the same, exactly the same. So, there is no phase difference. So, you will find V here, I here. So, the magnitudes will be different. The phase will be magnitudes will be given by the Ohm's law, whereas the phase is going to be the exactly the same. So, this is what an phasor representation we show this. Okay.
Yes.
Now, we also know the IRMS will be given by I m divided by root 2 and VRMS will be given by 0.0. This is also 1 by root 2 Vm, and then power this we just discussed. So, the power will be given by VRMS into IRMS, I square RMS and V square RMS. Okay. So, once you can switch on your mic only when required. I think
Yes,
it
sir.
is picking up some noise.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so in the recording also I found that noise. Okay. Okay, so this is the generalized equation for power in an AC circuit. Okay, so power is nothing across any component for that matter will be average of voltage into current. Okay, now this is the voltage. Suppose this is Vm into sin omega t. This is the voltage, and the current need not be in phase. Okay, so we are trying to find out a generalized equation. So, we will see that for an inductor and a capacitor, or for that matter when we go further ahead in parallel RLC combinations, the current and voltage they will not be in exactly in phase. Okay, so, so we put an phi in between, so that just to indicate that they are not exactly in phase. So you take an average of this. So you sin A sin B is what 2 sin A sin B will be cos A minus B minus cos A plus B, right. So if I use this thing to simplify this equation, so I get that this 2 in the denominator out here, and cos phi minus cos 2 omega t plus phi. Now I have to take an average of this. Now if you see here, cos phi is going to be remaining, this is going to remain constant for an circuit. Okay, now because once you have assembled the circuit, that remains same, whereas cos omega t, this is a time variant function, and if you take an average of this, this will become 0. So this component, if you take an average, this goes to 0. So what would remain is Im Vm Im divided by 2 and cos phi. Is this understood once? How did we reach
Yes,
here?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now for a resistor, if you see, cos phi is what is it is going to remain exactly in phase, right. So cos phi will be 0. So that is why this component will become 1. So it is Vm Im divided by 2. So or I can write it as Vm divided by root 2 into Im divided by root 2. That comes out to be Vrms and Irms. Okay. So this is what a generalized equation for finding out the power, because we are going to use this generalized equation to find the power of other elements in the circuit. Okay. So that is why this cos phi is 0 in this case. So you have Vrms Irms, that is the power in a resistor. Now if you see, instead of a resistor, now we connect an inductor and see what is the difference it's going to make. So now V, whatever we have applied is Vm sin omega t, it is represented like this. Now Vm sin omega t is equal to L di by dt. Okay, that is the equation for the voltage across an inductor. So I take di on to the left hand side and Vm divided by L sin omega t. Now if I integrate it, I will get Vm divided by L sin omega t, integral of this, so which is minus cos omega t plus constant. Now this since it is an we don't have to take care of the initial conditions and things like that, we are assuming okay this is going to drive here, so we forgot about the constant for the time. So I get an I is equal to Vm divided by omega L. So minus cos omega t, I can represent it as sin omega t minus pi by 2. Okay, why I am writing in terms of sin is to compare with my input voltage. Okay, what's happened. Okay, so if I compare this with the input signal, I will see it is minus pi by 2 is available here. So it means that the current is going to lag the input voltage by pi by 2, okay, or by 90 degrees. Okay, and also what is Im? Im is V divided by omega into L. Okay. So in a resistance we saw it is V divided by R. So the kind of impedance which the inductor is going to provide is omega L. Okay, in case of resistance it was R. Okay, in case of an inductor it is omega L. So these are the two differences which comes when we replace a resistance with inductor. R becomes L omega, and also a minus pi by 2 phase difference is induced. Okay. Now if you see this is the applied signal, you will find the voltage is lagging by pi by 2. Okay. So this is the time domain representation, and if I go to the vector domain representation, this is the applied voltage. So the current will be at 90 degree, it will be lagging. Okay, like I explained in the previous class, lagging means here it will be shifted towards the right, because this is going to come after certain amount of time. So we call it lagging. Okay, so it will appear. So any lagging signal will appear to the right. Okay, and any leading signal, because this has come first in time at t is equal to 0, the signal has already crossed from 0 to from the negative to positive, whereas this is crossing from 0 to positive after pi by 2. So the current is known as lagging the voltage. Okay, and hence it is written as minus pi by 2 out here. Okay, so that is why this is this much understood? One. Okay. So now we go forward. Now, if you see I is equal to Vm divided by omega L. So, this omega L is known as an inductive reactance or XL. So, Im is equal. So, so if you see when you compare with R, so instead of R it is L omega. So, a resistance behaves in the circuit in the same manner irrespective of the frequency, whereas an inductor, the impedance offered by the inductors is directly proportional to the frequency. So, you have an omega L because it is omega L, omega is 2 pi f, right. So, at frequency is equal to 0, that is for DC conditions, this will be a short circuit, right. And at very as the frequency keeps increasing, the impedance offered by this inductor will keep increasing, and hence the currents in the circuit reduce. So, it is a frequency dependent component out here, unlike a resistor. So, if you take an example, so this is an example, a 400 millivolt millihenry coil of negligible resistance is connected to a AC circuit in which the effective current is 6 milliampere. When I say effective current 6 milliampere like this, it means the RMS value is 6 milliampere, it is not the peak value. Okay. So, if an equation is given, V is equal to 6 into sine something, in that case the 6 becomes the Vm. Okay, but if it is written just 6 milliampere, it means it is the RMS value. 6 milliampere is followed. Find the voltage across the coil if the frequency is given, right. So, L is given as 400 milliampere, I is also given, F is also given. So, the first and foremost is to compute XL, which is L omega. So, L into 2 pi f. So, L 2 pi f, which is 1000 hertz into L, which is 0.4. So, you get 2512 ohms. Okay. So, that is the impedance. So, voltage across L will be I into XL. Okay. This is again the RMS voltage what you get, okay, because I is RMS in this case. So, I into V. So, I into XL simply gives us the RMS voltage. Is it understood once?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, now if you see, if you try to compute the power of the inductor, okay, again we know the generalized equation is P average is equal to Vm cos phi by 2, okay, or V RMS I RMS into cos phi. So, cos phi in this case the current is lagging by the by 90 degrees. So, cos phi becomes minus 90 and cos phi becomes 0. So, the average power is 0. So, what happens in this circuit is there is no resistive element. So, as the signal goes up, the magnetic energy whichever is stored, that only the direction changes. There is no dissipation of heat. So, there is no energy which is consumed by the inductor. Okay, it is only the when increasing and decreasing, power will keep toggling from the source to the inductor, and then when the power supply goes negative, whatever energy comes back to the power supply. So, it is only exchange of energy which takes place here. There is no dissipation of energy out here, right. Now, coming to an capacitor. So, again we apply a sinusoidal signal out here and a capacitor is placed here. So, we know the voltage across the capacitor is Q divided by C. So, the current will be dq by dt. So, if you substitute this, you have C d Vm sin omega ct. Now, it said the voltage is in a sinusoidal signal out here. So, so I get I is equal to Cw Vm cos omega t, right. So, in terms of sin omega t, if I have to write, I can write sin omega t plus pi by 2. Now, you will see the current is leading the voltage by pi by 2, okay, in this case. So, hence if you see, this is the applied voltage and the current is now leading it by pi by 2. Okay. So, in inductor it was lagging, in capacitor the current is going to lead the current by pi by 2. And another change which we observe out here is for an inductor the impedance was L omega. Now, here it is the C omega in the current equation is in the numerator. So, if I have to write Vm divided by something, I have to write Vm divided by 1 by C omega. So, the impedance is 1 by C omega, right. So, again this also, like an inductor, is an frequency dependent factor, the impedance which is offered. So, for omega is equal to 0, it is infinity. That means, for an DC applied voltage, the capacitor will act like an open circuit. That is what we studied in the DC circuits also. There will be no current which will be flowing, right, and for as the frequency increases, the impedance decreases. So, this impedance response is exactly opposite to that of an inductor here. So, for an inductor at for DC it is short circuit, for a capacitor for DC it is an open circuit. Now, this is again one example where the value of C is given, the RMS value is given here. See, whenever it is given like this, you have to remember this is the RMS value which is given always. So, we have to find the capacitive reactance. Okay. So, capacitive reactance is 1 by omega C, right. So, it is omega. So, it is 2 pi f. So, the frequency is given as 50 hertz. So, f becomes 50, 2 pi. The value of C is also given here, right. C is pi 10 square by pi. So, if you substitute that, you will get 100 ohms as the capacitive reactance, and then to find out the RMS value of the current is just by Vrms divided by Xc. So, Vrms is 220 which is given, and Xc, the reactance of the capacitance, is 100. So, you get an RMS value of the current, right. Now, to find out the V maximum, we know Vrms is V maximum by root 2. So, to get V maximum, 200 into root 2. So, this is V maximum. Similarly, I maximum is RMS into root 2. So, you will get an this is the max values. Okay. So, whenever I write the equation in this form, it is Vm always. So, that is the reason I have written this as 311 sin 314 t. So, where does this 314 come? Omega t. Omega is 2 pi f, right. So, f is 10 square by 5. So, into 2. So, that pi gets cancelled. So, you have an right 10 square 2 pi f, right,
into 50, 100 pi's.
Yeah. I think this should be 100, right. There is an error out here. Omega t, right. So, omega is an 2 pi and f. So, it should
It's
come
correct,
as
sir. It's correct, sir.
okay.
3.14 into 50 into 2.
Okay. Yeah, correct. Okay. So, that is there. Now, the response for a pure capacitor. Now, if I to find out the generalized equation for power, again it is a Vrms into cos phi. Here it is, instead of like an inductor, it is minus 90. For a capacitor, it is going to be plus 90, and hence the average power is going to be 0. So, with sinusoidal, there is no power being consumed. It is only that the charges will be stored into the capacitor, and when it is going into the negative cycle, again the charges will be coming back to the source, and when it is coming to 0, and then when it is going negative, the charge is going to get stored again in the negative direction. So, as long as there is no resistive element here, there will be no loss of power, only energy will be transferred from the source to the capacitor and back to the source. So, there will be only shifting of energy from from the source to capacitor and vice versa. So, this is the summary of the thing what we have learned here. So, for an resistance, it is V is equal to IR, or V is equal to L di by dt, or V is equal to 1 by C integral IT. So, this is calculus based. So, when we see problems, we can either do this on an easier method, and what we will see in problems will be to do it in the algebra, okay, in which an R will be represented as R, whereas an inductor will be shown as j omega L, and capacitor will be 1 by j omega C. Okay. So, most of the problems we can do both ways, but this you will find it is much easier when we are doing problems. So, we need to remember these equivalents of algebra and calculus. Right. This is the general phasor representation. This we just did this, and impedance is inverse is 1 by impedance. So, that is known as admittance. Okay. So, admittance of resistance will become 1 by R, and admittance of inductor will become 1 by j omega L, and admittance of capacitor will become j omega C. Okay. So, these small things we need to remember, and when we have an impedance in series, like in the case of an resistor, okay, these could be now in the case of resistor, they were pure real numbers. Now, it could be complex numbers also. So, the same mesh analysis if we do, so the net impedance can be written as Z1 plus Z2, or if there are n elements, it will be Z1 plus Z2 plus Zn. So, any impedances which are connected in series, they will be sum of the impedances. Okay. Now, when we are talking in AC circuits, they will be all complex numbers, right. So, this Z is not necessarily a real number, like this is a complex, right. The ZL is j omega L. So, this becomes the imaginary part, right. So, similarly, ZC also 1 by j omega. So, we just have to consider them as a single block, and then keep adding it if they are in series. Similarly, the parallel equation also holds good. Okay. So, before we wind up, we will just take one example. So, the things will become clear. So, you have an 10 ohms, 20 millifarad, 2 Henry, 6 ohms, and now to find out what is the net impedance, and as seen from the left hand side. So, if you see here, this can be now written in algebraic form, right. So, this is 10. So, since it is an capacitance, right, and so it will become a minus j. Okay. So, so if you see here 1 by j omega C. So, now for that the frequency information has to be given. Okay. Without that we can't write it this way. So, the frequency is given as, because for each frequency the impedance offered will be different, because the impedance of an L and C is frequency dependent. So, the frequency needs to be specified. So, 1 by j omega C will be nothing by multiplying j on top and bottom. So, in the denominator you have j square, which is minus 1. So, your omega is 5 is given as radians per second. So, we need to be careful whether it is given data is f or omega. If it is radians per second, it means it is omega. Okay, if it is in hertz, then it means in frequency. Then if it is in frequency, then this will become 2 pi f. Okay. So, we need to be careful with that. So, we find out the equivalent impedance. So, that comes to be minus is. Similarly, this is L j omega L. So, this becomes J10, and then this again 50 millifarad, it's shown here, it becomes a minus 0.4 J, right. And now, this is a parallel, the same formula which we applied for resistances, J1 into J2 divided by J1 J2. Okay. So, we need to do this simple complex arithmetics which we studied in our max. So, we can do that, and then after that we can just add these two in series, and then again in parallel. So, this is the final answer. So, you can do it at your home and verify whether what is shown here, you are getting the final answer or not. So, you can just do it as a homework and verify this answer. You should be getting this. Okay. So, that is all for today. So, all the best for your exam. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.